Good evening, dear televiewers, and thank you for joining us for this 7 p.m. edition of the news on DBS television. Let's open the news right away, beginning with our top stories. The fraudulent manufacturing of goods in Cameroon is becoming more and more of a problem as more young Cameroonians are venturing into the contraband manufacturing of products and thus putting the health of the consumers at risk. In this news, we take a look at some of the recent incidences with this phenomenon. And social justice in Cameroon and in the world is in the spotlight as the world prepares to celebrate tomorrow, February 20, as the World Day for Social Justice. A deeper look of these stories and more will be yours after we return following this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back and good evening once more. You are watching the 7 p.m. newscast of the news on DBS television, and this is the Friday edition. I am Cynthia Ngwemo. We open the news talking about contraband manufacturing of products as two young men in the New Bell neighborhood of Douala have been arrested or caught while they were in the process of manufacturing fake soft drinks of popular brands in Cameroon. In the following report, Mange Venasius looks at the effort to promote the consumption of goods made in Cameroon, a concept which is being abused by many. His report.
It is no longer news that Cameroonians hardly consume local-made goods, be it in the food we eat, water that we drink, or the clothes we wear. Inasmuch as there is that conception that imported goods determine the social ranking of the individual consuming them, the question of what we consume in terms of quality and hygienic conditions can no longer be trivialized. Although there are increasing calls for us to consume homemade goods, many Cameroonians have abused the genuinely logical idea and in the cover of anonymity or contraband labels have been producing very doubtful and in some cases dangerous product for consumption. Of recent, doubtful production units have been unmasked in neighborhoods like Bonaberi and Kululung in Douala or Obili and Guaykele in Yaoundé. Many of the hot drinks we consume in Cameroon have doubtful origins. This would be a call for Cameroonians to be extra careful on what we consume, especially the hygienic conditions of the goods we buy. Simple reasoning says, in doubt, do not act. In doubt, do not buy, and the need to draw the attention of forces of law and order.
As we told you in the opening of this news, tomorrow, February 20, would be observed internationally as World Day for Social Justice. This day seeks to bring people to look into the effects of social justice on poverty eradication, but also on promoting social integration amongst all ranks of society. This is the reason why this year's theme is a call for social justice in the digital economy. Ate Bonaventure has the details.
The digital economy is transforming the world of work. Over the past decades, expansion in broadband connectivity, cloud computing and data have led to the proliferation of digital platforms which have penetrated several sectors of the economy and societies. Since early 2020, the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic have led to remote working arrangements and allow for the continuation of many business activities. Further reinforcing the growth and impact of digital economy, the crisis has also laid bare and exacerbated the growing digital divide between and across developed and developing countries, particularly in terms of availability, affordability, and use of ICTs and access to the internet, deepening existing inequalities. Consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic is exposing the risks and inequalities of workers engaged in location-based platforms. For traditional business, the challenges include unfair competition from platforms, some of which are not subject to conventional taxation and other obligations because of their novel nature, including with respect to their new nature Another challenge for traditional business is the amount of funding required to continuously adapt to digital transformation, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises, and inadequate availability of reliable digital infrastructure in the global south in developing countries. This year's commemoration supports efforts by the international community to search for solutions to achieve sustainable development, poverty eradication, and promotion of full employment and decent work. Consequently, it aims at fostering dialogue with member states and relevant UN institutions and other stakeholders on actions needed to overcome the digital divide, provide decent work opportunities, and protect labor and human rights in the modern era of digital technologies.
And talking about social justice, children with disabilities are human beings, and of course children just like every other, most of whom have special talents that just need to be discovered and nurtured. This was the objective or the goal of Miss Santé, that is top model Miss Santé Adele Ongene and Miss Beach 2021, who visited and shared smiles in a school for children with special needs in the city of Douala. Mange Venasius has the details of that story in the following report.
In a bid to promote social cohesion and insertion, top model Miss Santé Cameroon 2019, Adele Ongene, has reached out to children with audio and visual impairment, IDAV, in Douala 5 subdivision. Although lacking in one aspect, these are still human beings with needs like every other person.
Deaf doms also need to be associated in the society, because we need love, we need motivation. They also need it. So,
in partnership with another concept, Smart Education, being promoted by Nkwange Preston, whose goal is to explore the talent hidden in these children with deficiency, they carried out activities like painting, scientific experiment and demonstrations, as well as introducing them to environmental care. With a concept for the environmental consent, one school, one tree, a slogan adopted by 2021 Miss Beach Atem Belie Nuela, with the aim to fight climate change in Cameroon. They opted to encourage the young on the importance of trees to our society.
I honored this invitation because it's going to be a great opportunity for me to launch the project, which is one tree for a school. And so we are going to be planting a tree together with the children, and also try to make them understand the importance of trees so that they could also practice that at home.
By so doing, they decided to launch the program with these children with disabilities.
And also to encourage them, to let them know they are not on their own, even though they might be disabled, but also they mean a lot to the world. They can also contribute to making our world better.
Initiatives which the management and staff of IDAF appreciated, stating that they will go a long way to enable them discover the hidden talent in these children.
Months of strikes from the workers on the construction site of the Ngaoundéré Regional Hospital, works have resumed progressively. The Regional Parliamentary Committee, who visited the construction site on February 18, say that the work is in a progress rate of 85%, and that the project would be ready and delivered by the end of May. Details with Nde Vanessa Chouillon.
The Ngaoundéré Reference Hospital is gradually gaining steam. Constructed on the site of 11 million meters square, work is progressively ongoing. The first phase of the construction has largely passed its contractual deadline, meant to be due in 18 months, that is 1 year, 6 months. 3 years, 10 months have elapsed already. This has permitted a Regional Parliamentary Committee monitoring the project to meet and point out the causes of the delay.
We have held a meeting, a long meeting, with the governor and all the actors that are concerned with this project, and they have pointed out some problems Now we have moved on the field. We have had a better appreciation of what is happening in the field, what is being done. Technically, we can say there's no major problem in the field.
Nevertheless, the execution rates have been evaluated to be at 85% and is set to be completed by the end of May this year.
It is around 85%, and I would like to assure and reassure everyone that we will deliver this site in the time frame schedule, which is 31 May 2021.
Members of the lower House of Parliament had a working visit on the site to be reassured of the quality of the materials being used, giving a better appreciation.
Now we have moved on the field. We have had a better appreciation of what is happening in the field, what is being done. Technically, we can say there's no major problem in the field. The work is done at the rate more than 80%. Execution of projects, execution of the financial aspect, more than 80% too.
The Ngaoundéré Reference Hospital, worth 10 billion francs CFA, is part of the Head of State Triennial Emergency Plan for the acceleration of economic growth, also involving the health sector.
Recently elected municipal executives in Tokombere, that is in the far north region of Cameroon, have officially been installed and have taken function as from this February 18, 2021. This was in an official ceremony at the Municipal Council that saw the massive presence of local administrative authorities and the populations who marked the day with rich and colorful activities. Amongst those who took function after their installation by the SDO of Mayo Sava Division, Roger Safo, is Mayor Bouka Titre, who comes with a mission to ensure development and better living conditions for the people of Tokombere. In the following excerpt, Mayor Bouka Titre talked about his intentions to build schools and provide water amongst other developmental projects. He spoke to our far north correspondent, Abdul Alim. Listen.
The priority for us first is for development. You know, we have to improve our development in our area. And the second is to build the schools. After that, we need water, we have electricity. It's not easy to make development on one day. It will take time, and I think by the grace of God, we will achieve what we have in our aim.
Next, we have the SDO for Mayo Sava Division, Roger Safo, who promises his support to the mayor and the other executives of the council in order to help them ensure that they complete their goals for this division. Let's listen.
Since we are in the framework in the effective decentralization, the mayor should be the very actor of the development of their council. And to succeed to that mission, they need my collaboration, the collaboration of the prefect, because I should help the mayor to succeed his mission. So I'm available, all my collaborators are available, all the divisional delegates are available to aid the mayor to achieve his mission, to achieve the needs of the population. The mayor should transform the environment of their population, to bring water, to bring electricity, and you can imagine that because of the insecurity, many of the water have been destroyed. So the population need electricity, they need water. So the SDO is alongside the mayor to help him to achieve his mission.
Now we talk news out of Cameroon. 7 military personnel in Uganda have been arrested and handed a prison sentence of 3 months, this for the beating up of some journalists in the capital Kampala while they were covering an event convened by opposition politician Bobi Wine. In Algeria, President Abdelmadjid Tebboune has dissolved the parliament and called for early elections in the country. His announcement also came with the pardon of some Hirak members who are in jail. And out of the African continent, in the United States of America, the administration of President Joe Biden has announced the resumption of talks, or America's readiness to resume talks with Iran on the nuclear deal. This in our Africa and World Roundup page with Rogiatu Buba, who is our intern.
In Uganda, the military says 7 soldiers have been sentenced 3 months in jail after they were convicted of assaulting journalists outside the United Nations Human Rights Office in the capital, Kampala. The 7 injured journalists were covering an effort by opposition leader Bobi Wine to file a petition with the United Nations against human rights abuses. The Uganda People's Defense Force said a military disciplinary committee had tried, convicted, and given them varying sentences, ranging from a severe reproval to 90 days jail. The military chief, General David Muhoozi, had apologized for the incident and vowed to punish the culprits. The Algerian president, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has dissolved parliament and called for an early legislative election. The dissolution came after a series of meetings between the president and the head of parties. In a televised address, President Abdelmadjid said a government reshuffle would take place within 48 hours. He also announced an amnesty for dozens of jailed members of the Hirak. The current parliament was elected in May 2017 for a 5-year term, but the elections were marred by accusations of mass fraud. New electoral rules would aim to limit electoral fraud. The announcement came as Algeria is struggling economically with the slump in oil prices and the coronavirus pandemic. The United States has declared readiness to restart talks with Iran to revive the 2015 nuclear deal, reversing former President Donald Trump's decision to walk out of the landmark deal. The United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, after a meeting with his European partners, stressed President Joe Biden's position. Iran has said it wants Washington to step up and make the first move. European powers, Britain, France and Germany, and the United States warned Iran it would be dangerous to limit the United Nations Nuclear Agency inspections. The United States has also withdrawn a Trump administration assertion that all United sanctions had been reimposed on Iran.
That was it for this Friday edition of the news in the English language on DBS television. I am Cynthia Ngwemo, thanking you for staying with us and hoping to see you when we return on Monday for a fresh edition. But while waiting, keep watching DBS television and enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.